Guys, welcome to Free Mind Path. Today we're talking about something super important. In today's world, the internet has made it way too easy to access these harmful videos, and we need to face the truth behind it. Never in human history have sexual things been this widespread. One day, humanity will finally realize just how destructive this really is. I want to share with you some of the devastating effects of this dirty industry, effects that science has already proven, and honestly, it's even worse than what most people think. For real freedom, you need one thing: hatred. Hatred for this entire filthy industry. They're trying to make this stuff as attractive and addictive as possible, so they can create slaves hooked on it for life. For real freedom, you must build that hatred inside you, and you have to protect it. Yes, build that hatred and protect it. And at the end of this video, I'll give you a practical exercise that will help you. So, let's get started. First, dopamine desensitization, flipping your brain's reward system. Alright, here's one of the craziest effects. This dirty industry can actually numb your brain's dopamine receptors. Basically, it's rewiring your reward system in the worst way possible. Now, dopamine is that feel-good chemical you get from eating good food, working out, or real-life intimacy. But with these destructive videos, even small amounts can blast your brain with unnatural levels of dopamine, way stronger than anything you'd get in real life. Yeah, it's that intense. Remember, this toxic content is built to be hyperstimulating, throwing endless novelty at you. And over time, you build up tolerance, just like a drug addict who needs more to get the same high. Research shows that long-term users of these harmful videos lose sensitivity in their brain's reward circuits, so normal life starts to feel flat. Everyday joys, hobbies, even hanging out with friends, they just don't hit the same. That's called anhedonia, when nothing feels exciting anymore. And it often leads to depression-like symptoms. In fact, scientists at the University of Cambridge found that people hooked on this filthy industry have brain activity patterns almost identical to drug addicts when shown their triggers. MRI scans even showed less gray matter in the striatum, the part of the brain responsible for motivation and rewards. It's like your brain is hijacked, constantly begging for more extreme and destructive content just to feel normal. Read that again. It's like your brain is hijacked. And here's the kicker. This doesn't just stay in your head. It can spill over into your relationships, where real intimacy feels dull compared to the on-screen fantasy. If you've noticed hobbies or time with loved ones don't feel exciting anymore, this could be the reason. The good news? Cutting off this toxic industry can actually help your brain heal. Your brain has something called plasticity. It can rewire and restore itself over time. Yes, your brain can heal. Second, impaired decision-making and impulse control, weakening your brain's command center. This dirty industry doesn't just mess with your pleasure system. It can actually damage your brain's control center. We're talking about the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles planning, self-control, and thinking before you act. Here's the scary part. Too much of these destructive videos has been linked to reduced activity and even physical changes in this area. That means it gets harder and harder to resist urges. Not just the urge for this toxic content, but other impulsive behaviors too, like overeating, gambling, or making reckless choices. A study in JAMA Psychiatry scanned the brains of men hooked on this filthy industry and found something called hypofrontality, lower blood flow to the frontal lobes when making decisions. This is the same brain pattern seen in people with ADHD or serious drug addictions. Picture this. You're at work or school, trying to focus, but your mind keeps drifting back to those destructive images because your impulse control is fried. Over time, that can lead to risky real-world behavior, cheating in relationships, neglecting your responsibilities, even sabotaging your own goals. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Germany found that heavy users of this harmful content had smaller volumes in their brain's reward system, and that shrinkage was linked to worse self-control. It's a vicious cycle. The more you consume, the weaker your willpower becomes. And the weaker your willpower gets, the harder it is to quit. But here's the hope. Awareness is power. Things like mindfulness meditation or therapy can help rebuild the prefrontal cortex and give you back the control this dirty industry tried to steal. Yes, you can take back control. Third, escalation to extreme content, the tolerance trap. Here's one of the most dangerous traps this dirty industry sets for you. Over time, it can push you toward more extreme, disturbing, or downright twisted material just to get the same feeling you once got from lighter stuff. Why? Because your brain loves novelty. These destructive videos give you an endless supply of new faces, new scenes, and new shocks, spiking dopamine far higher than anything in real life. It's called the Coolidge effect. Both animals and humans get more excited by new partners. But here, that means you're constantly clicking through categories, chasing the next hit. Soon, mild content isn't enough. You need something stronger, stranger, or darker. Read that again. Mild isn't enough anymore. A survey in the Journal of Sex Research found that 58% of frequent users escalated to hardcore or unusual genres over time. Inside your brain, the nucleus accumbens, the reward hub, gets used to the stimulation, forcing you to seek bigger and bolder to feel anything. The scariest part? This can desensitize you to violence or unhealthy themes, quietly reshaping how you see intimacy. Italian researchers at the University of Padua discovered that addicts of this toxic content preferred extremes over the familiar. And in the worst cases, it can cause real-life performance problems. Yes, that's PIDE, porn-induced erectile dysfunction, where your brain can't respond to a real partner because it's been rewired to expect fantasy-level stimulation. The good news? Quitting can reset your brain's preferences, but it takes months of discipline for things to normalize. Communities like NoFap are full of recovery stories proving it's possible. Fourth, memory and concentration issues. Brain fog from a filthy source. Ever feel like your memory's slipping or you can't focus after a binge? These destructive videos might be the reason. They hit the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, especially hard. When you overconsume, your brain gets flooded with stress hormones like cortisol during both the high and the withdrawal phase. Research shows that addiction to this filthy industry is linked to worse working memory and shorter attention spans. One study in behavioral sciences found users performed worse on memory tests, and scans showed weaker connections between the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. That's why so many report brain fog, the same kind you'd see from chronic stress or even early dementia. Think about that. A habit like this can mimic brain aging. Plus, the way people consume this stuff, switching tabs, endless searching, literally trains your brain to be distracted. Harvard Medical School even links high use to ADHD-like symptoms in adults. Long-term, that can tank your career, crush your studies, and ruin your productivity. But cutting down screen time, using brain training tools, and living healthier can rebuild those neural pathways. Fifth, emotional numbing and relationship damage, killing real connection. Maybe the saddest effect of this toxic industry is how it kills your ability to feel deep emotions. The limbic system, the part of your brain that bonds and loves, gets hijacked by cheap, superficial highs. Studies show heavy users report lower relationship satisfaction, higher anxiety, and more depression. A huge meta-analysis in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found consumption predicts erectile problems and emotional avoidance in relationships. And here's the twist. It can actually mimic avoidant attachment, making you crave isolation over real closeness. That's why some people end up preferring the screen to their own partner. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, barely releases during this fake stimulation compared to real intimacy. Less oxytocin means less empathy, less trust, less connection. The Kinsey Institute found that frequent exposure to this harmful content can even reduce empathy toward women, likely from the objectification it promotes. This tears marriages apart, damages friendships, and yes, divorce rates are higher among addicts. The hope? Therapy, couples counseling, and rebuilding healthy emotional habits can reactivate the circuits this dirty industry shut down. Yes, you can feel real connection again. Even a single moment of watching this toxic content can stick in your brain for years. But don't beat yourself up. What matters is that the sooner you take action, the sooner peace, freedom, and your normal self will come back. You need a constant, burning hatred for this industry. You can't let yourself become part of their profit. You can't be a reason this poison spreads. Here's the exercise. Every single day, write down all the harms and damages this dirty industry has caused you and could cause you in the future. Start with 10 reasons, and every day add 1 or 2 more. Keep reminding yourself why you never want to go back. The more you see the damage in front of you, the stronger your resolve will get. The stronger your resolve, the faster you'll break free. So subscribe and like this video, not just for you, but so more people can escape too. Let's stand together, and let's destroy this thing for good.